All right, people, we're back with I guess you can call it part two, because I started by introducing a particular sort of thought, right? I actually titled it Repent, and I discovered that I didn't really talk about the subject. Um, but I think what I said served to introduce what I was talking about, right? Because we're talking about an incident. I related it to an incident that happened in my part of the world. And what gave rise to that incident, because like I said, it's not, by no means, it's not an isolated incident. This is something that has happened several times in the past and may likely continue happening, right? So it's not the incident itself that is cause for concern, it is what gave rise to it. And my opinion is that what gave rise to it is a belief system. People have come to believe certain things, and it is playing out in their attitudes, right? And I've talked about the belief system. I've talked about the way our minds work and how these beliefs so fine to complain about current circumstances, how things have gone from bad to worse. The sanctity of human life is not being observed anymore, and people are just doing anything that they believe is true, right? Because of the way they think or because of the ideas that have been fed to them. But what do we do to change it, right? That is the question. And for me, that is summarized. The answer to that is summarized in the topic of this conversation. And if you've looked at it, it is called repent. Repent. Now, without even um, without even taking an opinion or passing a poll, I know exactly what is going on in your minds when you see that topic. You're probably saying, "Oh, here we go," with the Christianese, and is it going to talk to us about Jesus? Well, not really. Not really, because that word, when we see that word, it is not what we think it is. It is not what we think it is. When you see that word, it is actually talking about something else. It's not talking about the thing that you think it is. So, what does it mean to repent? Repent. It is not a religious term, right? It is not a religious idea. What it actually means is to change the way you have been conditioned to think. Change the way you have been conditioned to think. Now, what does that mean? It means that everything that you e- everything that you have talked about or you have thought about, all the ideas that you have come to believe, etc., were fed to you, right? You didn't just think about new concepts on your own or new precepts on your own. They were introduced to you by a series of circumstances, people, material, right? When a child is born, um, and I keep saying this, when a child is born, when babies are born, they don't come with any preconceived ideas. Their minds are essentially blank slates. So if you think about a computer, right, the hard drive, which is essentially the main part of the computer, when you buy a new system, that is essentially empty. So when you are constantly downloading stuff, you want to download Microsoft Office, for instance, you have to download that, for it to be um, put on the system and for you to be able to use it, if you want to work with any of the Microsoft Office suites, right? Like Word or Excel, PowerPoint, etc. Right. So everything, all the ideas you have come to believe were downloaded. They were downloaded onto our hard drives, which is essentially our mind, not just our mind, or not really our mind, our subconscious mind. Now, for you to be able to appreciate this, you need to be able to know the difference between the mind and the subconscious mind, or rather between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, because our mind is not just one. It is made up of two components: the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and both of them have different functions. So when I say repent, what I'm essentially saying is that change the way you have been conditioned to think in your subconscious mind, because that is really where the root